Welcome in, everybody, to 5 Star Live. Week 11 is over. The regular season is over. Jesse Smithy along with Jaywan Mitchell here tonight to break down everything that happened on the final night of the regular season of high school football. Jaywan, there were some crazy things that went on tonight. Fulton High School, welcome to the playoffs. Who would have thought that? I gave them zero chance. This show, our pregame show is out there. You can go back and watch on YouTube and Facebook, and I sat up here and gave Fulton zero chance of winning that football game tonight against Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge lined up for a 25-yard field goal on the final seconds of the game, straight on. Couldn't ask for much better, and it just didn't go in. Wow. You hate to put your kicker in that situation.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man.
But Oak Ridge rallied, tried to get that game, but now Oak Ridge goes into the playoffs as a 4 seed. Fulton is the 3 seed, and they did it without Tommy Sweat, their quarterback. Any thoughts on that?
Man, mind-blowing. It's just mind-blowing. Like, that's totally unexpected. Like you said, from the pregame show, we had already counted them out from the beginning. They started off terrible. Honestly, they haven't been the same Fulton that we've known them to be in years at all. And then they make a comeback for the season and get the 3rd seed.
Yep. One of the games that we were tracking tonight was Catholic High School. Remember, they needed to beat Father Ryan tonight. They did that. Caden Martin throws a big touchdown pass late, puts Father Ryan away, and then Brentwood Academy falls. They led at halftime 14-7 against Baylor. Baylor rallies in the second half. That means Catholic is now in the playoffs.
That's another big-time win right there. Like, we talked about that as well. If Catholic handled their business against Father Time, they make it in the playoffs, and sure enough, Brentwood failed. So everything worked in their favor.
So congratulations to Catholic for getting to the playoffs. We'll see if that gives them new life. We talked about that. We had interviews with Coach Matthews out at Catholic in our pregame show and halftime about just getting that new kind of breath of fresh air. We've seen them go on runs in the playoffs before.
If this doesn't do it, I don't know what else can. I mean, the type of season that they had at the beginning and then making it this far, like you said, it should be a new burst of energy for the whole team.
Powell wins the game of the night 15-12 over South Doyle. That's Powell's 4th win this year by 6 points or fewer. And then they had the 1 win over Anderson County where they were losing going into the 4th quarter. They rallied to win that football game by double digits, but pretty much half of Powell's games this year have come down to the final quarter, and they still find a way to get it done. They're 10-0 going to the playoffs.
You know what? Powell is just a playoff team, and I just want to say I think they like playing down and coming back to win. I think that's just their high.
When they go into the playoffs and they get into tight football games, they're going to remember, hey,
exactly.
We did this against Anderson County. We did this against South Doyle. We did this against West High School.
Exactly.
It's going to give them that confidence that they need in that moment. Now, whether they deliver in those moments is another thing, but they will have confidence to draw back on. So.
Definitely, for sure.
We are live tonight here at Dead End Barbecue like we have been all night long, tracking the playoff pairings, and we're going to release those here in a minute. But just want to give one final shout-out to Dead End Barbecue and George Ewart and his staff, taking very good care of us tonight. We've been here since, I got here like 5:15, 5:30, and it's 10:30 now. So
on the dot.
I've had plenty to eat, plenty to drink, so I'm ready for tonight. All right, let's go ahead and start unveiling our playoff pairings. We're going to start in Class 1A. Harriman, the 4 seed, will go on the road to Cloudland. This is a Harriman team that could go on the road and knock off that 1 seed. That Cloudland team's not a 10-0 team. They're not an 8-2 team. They're more like a 5-5 team. So Harriman could possibly go on the road and get that win. Coalfield very much capable of going to Hancock County and getting a win. Oliver Springs and Greenback are the other 2 teams from Region 2. Region 2 1A with Greenback, Oliver Springs, Coalfield, Harriman. Very good chance of sweeping those first-round games.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, Greenback, very good chance of making it to the state semifinals again. And, of course, they won a state title in 2017. A little bit of bad luck last year with Holden Willis getting hurt in the playoffs and kind of derailed their chances as Whitwell ended up going on to win a state title. But Whitwell not in the playoffs this year. They just had a really bad year. It's basically going to be a collision course between Greenback and South Pittsburgh. All right, moving on into 2A. Cumberland Gap falls tonight to Rockwood. That makes them the 4 seed. They'll go on the road to take on Hampton. Of course, Rockwood got a big win over Cumberland Gap, make them the 3 seed. Going on to take on South Green. Oneida, they were already the 2 seed coming into the night. They played Thursday night in a non-region contest, so they pretty much knew they were going to take on Sullivan North and Happy Valley at Meigs. Real quick here, we don't have a lot of 2A teams in the area. Oneida, a little dinged up. I know Aaron Bowling is a big standout for them. He's underwent surgery the other day. They had a loss last night to Coalfield, and so they need to kind of regroup, and we'll see if they can kind of press the reset button going into the playoffs. You played high school football. You played college football. What switch gets turned on when you go into the playoffs? It just feels different, right?
Yeah, because it's a win or go home situation. So everything is on the line. It's like nobody wants their season to be over. You know what I mean? So like I said, everything's out on the line. Everybody's coming with their best because you have to leave everything out on the field.
Yep. So big night from Rockwood as they got a win, and Meigs County has the reigning Mr. Football and Aaron Swafford. So they're definitely going to be a one seed and a team to watch. Let's move on into 3A. Kingston falls tonight to Gatlinburg-Pittman. They'll go on the road to take on Chucky Doak. West Green will take on Alcoa. I don't think anybody or their mama or their mama's cousin or anybody's going to give West Green any chance of winning that football game.
Or even making it a close game.
Side note, Alcoa's shutout streak ended tonight. You know that, right?
Wow.
They gave up 6 points. Six whole points. Yeah, they came in only averaging giving up 3.4. So
wow.
Shout out, I guess, to Dobbins Bennett for almost doubling that. So it was 21-6. So they got a little bit of a test here out of 6A Dobbins Bennett going into the playoffs, but we'll see what Alcoa can do there. Austin East, we got Austin East in the house tonight. They're going to join us up on set in just a minute. They're going to be taking on Johnson County in the first rounds of the playoffs, and Gatlinburg-Pittman will go on to face Unicoi County in the 3A playoffs. Again, J1, Gatlinburg-Pittman is a team that I was pretty high on through the first half of the season. They had good quarterback play, good running back, size on the line. Austin East took them out behind the woodshed on Rivalry Thursday. Then Alcoa took them out behind the woodshed in Week 10, and they needed that win tonight to kind of get some confidence going to the playoffs, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, of course, definitely. You take some big losses like that, and going into the playoffs, that you want to try to finish off with a win to give your team some confidence going into the playoffs.
Yeah, so really like all those teams pretty much from Region 2, your Gatlinburg-Pittman, your Austin East, your Alcoa, your Kingston, really good chances for them to sweep there in the first round of the playoffs. Let's move on up into 4A, where Greenville is the defending – we got a second quadrant here in Class 3A. Loudon's going to take on Cannon County or York. I actually forgot who won that football game. Is it 15-14? York won that football game 15-14. They are going on to take on Loudon, who finished with an undefeated season after winning 3 football games a year ago.
Wow, that's a big turnaround for a team like that, man. And that's saying a lot. That's a lot of volume for that team to turn it around like that.
They won tonight over Red Bank in that battle for the 1 seed. 2 undefeated teams. Loudon trailed at the half tonight, 7-3, and rallied to win that football game, making Red Bank the 2 seed. Red Bank will host Sequatchie County. Signal Mountain falls in overtime to Sweetwater, and they will travel to Upperman. Of course, Upperman gave Alcoa a pretty good game deep into the state semifinals in 3A a year ago. You weren't around then, but I made a bet on Twitter that night. I said, if Upperman even scores a touchdown in this game against Alcoa, I will give away a lifetime membership to 5starpreps.com, and they scored. So Upperman good again this year, and we'll see if they ended up making another run. But I know some teams around here want to have a say in that. And then finally, again, Sweetwater beat Signal Mountain in overtime tonight, and they get a trip to Smith County. Moving on into 4A, where Greenville is the defending state champion, 2-time defending state champion, but they will move into the playoffs as a 2 seed. Remember, Elizabethton beat them a couple of weeks ago on a last-second field goal. Elizabethton is the 1 seed. They will host East Ridge. Greenville will host Howard. Sullivan South will go to East Hamilton. Anderson County, 3rd consecutive run through their region, undefeated. They have not lost since joining that league in 2017. Tonight was head coach Davey Gillum's 100th career victory. They go into the postseason 9-1. They take on Granger. Granger had a game tonight. It was a loser go home game. So it was almost playoff scenario pretty much for Granger.
Definitely.
They had to beat Union County to even get into the playoffs. Union County on the flip side was trying to make back-to-back consecutive playoff appearances for the first time in program history. Granger gets the win tonight as Dawson Holt, their running back / quarterback, ran for 219 yards and 3 touchdowns. They will take on the 1 seed Anderson County, and the Mavericks playing really good football right now.
Yeah, like I said, like I keep saying, man, towards playoff time, the end of the season, that's where you want to play your best football because that's where everything counts. That's where everything matters. So they're doing it good. They're doing right at the good time.
So I think everybody was thinking about, okay, is this going to be another Greenville-Anderson County showdown in the state quarterfinals like they've done the last 2 years? Well, Greenville slipped up. Now they're the 2 seed. I think they'll have to tussle with Elizabethton in the second round just to even see Anderson County again. So a little bit of a different path for these teams this year in the 4A playoffs. Let's move on up into 5A where we have 2 quadrants. South Doyle, of course, their game tonight against Powell had no bearing on their playoff seeding whatsoever. Yeah. South Doyle will host Cherokee in the first round of the playoff. Central got beat tonight 28-17, I believe, to Gibbs. But since Halls won, Halls routed Seymour. That still left Central as the 2 seed. And, of course, these projections we're showing you up on screen are based on the possibilities that TSSAA put out. So we're following what they put out.
Yeah.
Halls 7-3 now going to the playoffs. Jake Paris, another 5-touchdown night for that young man. Your buddy. We keep saying it week in and week out. Year number 1 at Halls. He's now 7-3 going in the playoffs. That's unthinkable.
Let's go, Coach Cummins, man. Just taking this Halls program and just turning it around. It seems like the team is buying in, and they're a force to be reckoned with.
Now, they've had years where they've made it to the state finals back in the mid-'80s and the mid-'90s, but they haven't been past the second round in quite some time at Halls. So We'll see if they can get that done. Gibbs playing really good football right now. I know they're excited. They beat Central, the defending state champion, tonight at home. We put a graphic up on Twitter earlier this week about them having 2 1,000-yard rushers.
Wow.
Their quarterback, Troy Davis, their running back, Ethan Humphreys. They have another young man that's right there on the cusp of breaking 1,000 yards. So keep an eye on that Gibbs team.
Yeah.
Look, you ran the veer in high school.
Mm-hmm.
They run a triple option. It's tough for teams to defend that.
Oh, yes, because you get so many different looks out of it, and you really have to be able to find that ball because, like you said, it's just real tricky. You have to be able to find that ball and get to it quick, and if you don't find it, you'll catch somebody running by you real quick.
So congratulations to Gibbs for their win tonight. They will tackle Tennessee High there in the first round. Let's move into Quadrant 2 of Class 5A. Lenoir City will take on Powell. That was already predetermined tonight. We knew that was going to happen. There's Fulton, the 3 seed Fulton. I mean, I'm kind of getting chills right now. I've known Rob Black for so long. I know that community. Their numbers are down. They had injuries. They had just players go elsewhere. This is just the perfect storm type of year. Fulton beats Oak Ridge tonight 27-26. Oak Ridge misses a field goal in the final 20-some-odd seconds. Fulton gets in as the 3 seed. They go on to play Ray County, former Catholic coach Mark Pemberton.
This Fulton team, man,
I'm just speechless.
I know, man, because like you said, from the beginning of the season and even throughout the season, it just seemed like they couldn't catch a break and like they were totally outside of their character as in past years. But they just fought. They just stuck with it. They never gave up, and they got the key wins that they needed to get, such as this Oak Ridge game that nobody expected them to win, and they won it.
Fulton led at the half. They didn't have their starting quarterback, Tommy Sweat, who dislocated his ankle last week, and Jeffrey Riddle steps into the role, and I'm just perplexed.
It's unbelievable.
Fulton hadn't missed the playoffs since 2008, and it seemed like it was going to be the year that they did that.
Definitely.
West High School is in the house tonight. We've got a lot of West fans back here behind the scenes that you can't see. They've been waiting for us to go live. They're excited and celebrating. They're celebrating their win over Campbell County, and they are the 2 seed, and they will host Walker Valley in the first round out of the Chattanooga area. Walker Valley capable of putting up some points here and there, but really expect West to win that football game. And then there's Oak Ridge, who struggled out of the gates. Then they got good again, and then they lost their last 2 games of the regular season to fall to a 4 seed. Still like their chances against Saudi Daisy, though.
All right.
Yeah, so, all right, that does it for Class 5A. We're going to move up to 6A. We're going to take a commercial break and then bring on some guests. 6A, Maryville, 1 seed. No surprise there. They'll take on the 4 seed Science Hill, who lost to Bearden tonight. Bearden gets into the playoffs. They're a 3 seed now. They'll go on the road to take on McMinn County, who had a very surprising win and a nice win over Bradley Central. Jalen Hunt, running back at McMinn County. We've told y'all about this kid all year on social media, on 5 Star Live. Ran for over 300 yards tonight in that win over Bradley Central. He is the cousin of Isaiah Mattress, the running back at West. We learned that early in the year.
Wow.
And just having a phenomenal year. He didn't do much last week against Maryville. I think only 42 yards, but certainly made up for it tonight. So McMinn ends up winning the 2 seed in that bracket, in that region, gets the home game against Bearden. Farragut. All right. Farragut, I told you last week I hadn't been able to figure them out. They got beat in Week 10, 33-6 by Hardin Valley. They're losing to Jefferson County with just a couple minutes left tonight. If Jefferson County wins that football game, Farragut misses the playoffs.
Wow.
Farragut scores with 50 seconds left. Now they're a 2 seed. So in a matter of minutes, they went from not making the playoffs to now a 2 seed. That's how crazy some of these scenarios were.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and it's just nuts. One thing, the roller coaster that they've been on throughout their season, and like you said, to either go to the second seed, to not being able to play it in the playoffs, that's big time.
Yeah. So Farragut, you got in. Let's see what they can do with it. Let's see if they can get some players healthy again. But it's been a topsy-turvy season out at Farragut this year. Shout out William Blunt. Shout out Creamsicle. Did I show you the video of the Creamsicle, the guy in the orange costume who runs kids at halftime?
I remember that.
The magic of Creamsicle is in full effect this year for William Blunt. They win tonight over Lenoir City. They got the necessary must-haves for them to get into the playoffs with, I think, Cleveland winning and another team as well. So shout out to the Govs and for their program and their community. Look, it's hard to win at William Blunt. It's hard to win at Heritage because of Alcoa and Maryville being in their backyard. So anytime they make it into the playoffs, especially in 6A, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a big win for them for sure.
All right, J1, let's take a break. Let's run some commercials. When we come back, we're going to be joined by some coaches and some players here live on 5 Star Live. Thanks for joining us. Stick with us right after the break.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
Ones make the plays. The dedicated ones never quit. Weekend warrior or professional, all athletes get hurt. And when you do, Tennessee Orthopedic Clinic's comprehensive sports medicine team is ready to take you on. The power of results.
The 5-Star Preps Player of the Week is proudly presented by Smith Built Homes, East Tennessee's most trusted home builders since the 1950s. Smith Built dedicates themselves to producing a home that owners, their families, and neighbors can be proud of for generations to come.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to 5 Star Live, our playoff war room here at Dead End Barbecue. We've been here all night. We've had guests on the show. We've had halftime reports. We've had highlights. And now we got Trey Foster, quarterback at Austin East. I think a Mr. Football candidate. We'll see that in the coming weeks. But, Trey, thanks for joining us tonight and coming down here. And
thanks for having me.
Big win for y'all tonight over Northview Academy. And just discuss kind of where you guys are mentally going into the playoffs right now.
Like today I told my teammates, I said it's the playoffs, it's the grind time. It's practice harder, games get harder. Now you got to play harder. But I think we'll be able to. Like I was saying, we started off slow in the beginning of the season. We started picking it up. Like we is very young now. Like young people starting to show they can play with juniors and seniors. Our freshmen is like they probably never restarted for like started in like little league, so they probably came out playing like varsity as soon as they got to high school.
I mean, we're seeing more and more freshmen play earlier and earlier now.
Yeah.
How much do you, as a senior, kind of help get them ready?
I just tell them you can't be no fresh. You can't be a freshman no more, man. You gotta play up. Like times like they missed a tackle. I'm like, you good, bro? You gotta make the tackle again. You gotta make that tackle. Like they missed a tackle in the hole. Not they playing slow, not like trying to hesitate, not reading their gaps. Like today, coaches. I mean, not today, but this week, coaches harping on the whole week, talking about them not reading their gaps and playing so slow and like hesitating. That's what like allowing 5-yard runs and stuff. Like we was harping on them about that.
Yeah. So y'all get the win tonight. I think everybody expected y'all to win tonight over Northview, and y'all did that easily. We were showing some highlights at halftime and of all of our plays of the week, and one of them was a touchdown run that you had at Webb that got called back.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like a day ago that y'all were struggling offensively, didn't score in that game, didn't score in the second week. When do you think it changed for you guys in terms of getting kind of the ship on the right track?
I really want to say the Alcoa game changes. We didn't score that week. So like, as soon as we got to like the next week, we was like texting the group checks. Like, bro, we got to pick it up. We can't have this type of game no more. And that we could practice. We was like a hard we could practice. I mean, like we was probably running, everything. Like,
but I remember you in the Webb game. You didn't seem like the normal Trey Foster. Did you feel like, okay, it's my senior year, I got to press, I got to make something happen, or was you just having an off night that night?
I believe I was having an off night. I mean, like I told coach, I couldn't get nothing going. I feel like it's just the first game. Like my throwing is off, throwing passes in the dirt. I was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Running, I couldn't get anything. Like I was doing okay running, but I was like, couldn't get to consistent.
Yeah, I think when you guys went down to Gatlinburg-Pittman on the TV game and won big, I think that kind of was a signal to everybody that, hey, Austin East is back again.
Yeah,
that win had to feel big for y'all.
Yeah, it was. Well, I believed that we'll beat them. I know there's like 6-0 at the time. I think I didn't believe they would beat us. Only they beat us, we let them beat us. Gave the game away. But going into the game, I was like, we can't underestimate this team though. Like last year, we beat them 35. What was it 35-12? I don't remember the score, but it was a blowout. Then they was like, do you believe I'm going to do it again? I said, I just come in the game to play. I don't think about the last year's scores or something like that. I just come in to play.
So last year, y'all make a run in the playoff. The year before, y'all make a run in the playoffs. Of course, Alcoa is always sitting there. What do you feel like looking back on those games against Alcoa, y'all need to do better to possibly, compete a little bit better this time?
To be honest, man, I don't want to talk about that. I'm just come out and play. I don't want to be like, for me, harp on about that. Mm-hmm. And I just come out and play against them, man. I don't want to be talking like. I'm not like a talker.
Yeah.
I just come out and play. I don't want to talk about that.
So it's kind of like a one game at a time thing.
Yeah,
for you, right? To be able to be blessed with another playoff appearance again. Sometimes seniors don't make it there in their last go around. Did you think about that at all at any point this season? That if we don't get this thing right, we're not even going to be there.
No, sir.
You didn't think that way?
No, sir. Yeah, no, sir.
All right, so last thing with you, and I'm going to pass the mic off to head coach Jeff Phillips. Game by game, week by week, first round's always kind of the toughest. You kind of feel that pressure a little bit, and you want to get that win. Mm-hmm. Keys to y'all's victory, like what do you got to do good next week, do well next week?
Our defense get another shutout like they did today would be great. Offense keep playing. Today I was just throwing a whole bunch of drags and short routes, and they're getting positive gains for 17, 16, 5. 7, they kept going up and up. Just throwing the go route, just trying to get the big plays, stay with the little plays and let them gain. Today, we just running inside and breaking arm tackles.
Mm-hmm. I said last thing with you. One more quick question. Yes, college-wise, you still thinking about playing on the next level? You getting any kind of looks there?
I'm getting a couple schools. I'm not too many yet, but ETSU, Kennesaw State, I think that's really it. Tennessee Tech.
You wanted to play quarterback in college, or does it matter?
Kennesaw State looking at me for quarterback because they run with their quarterbacks a lot, but other schools I was looking for running back.
Yeah. All right, man. Congratulations on the win tonight. Congratulations on making it to the playoffs. We're going to pass it off to Jeff Phillips, head football coach at Austin East High School. Win tonight over Northview Academy. Sneak on here, man. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Y'all have had the 2 seed locked up for a little while now, so there wasn't very much drama tonight. But what did you impress upon your kids going into the final week of the regular season where everybody was expecting y'all to win that game tonight?
Correct.
You didn't want any slip-ups. What's been the message really the last couple weeks?
Really been about our defense. I think Trey kind of alluded to that. We spent a lot of time watching film, looking back at a lot of our games and kind of seeing where we just weren't really playing good football. We've always played really good on defensive side of the ball, rallying to the football, running, and we just haven't been playing it the last couple of weeks. We were getting gashed by teams, and I think my defensive coordinator probably was a little upset with me because I was on them so much. But the last 2 weeks, we really just concentrated on a lot of the little things, controlling gaps or running the right play, and at the same time, just vice versa, just saying, hey, up front, you got a horse back there in Trey and Isaiah. Just sometimes you got to just do a little bit and let them guys eat, and that's really just been our main focus. We know that you got to play good defense in the playoffs, and you got to run the football because weather is crazy. So,
do you feel like you've had to coach this team harder than you did, say, the last couple of years, given that it kind of started off on the wrong foot?
Yeah, I think maybe this team I kind of came out a little bit different, a different approach. I told the kids I take those 2 losses. It's kind of me. I kind of thought we were something that we weren't. Thought I could do something different, and that's just not who we were. So as the weeks have gone, I've kind of put more into it, kind of went back to some of my old ways and really getting at them and letting them see how it is and how those other teams were. So, and they responded a lot, and it's been really good. But this team is a lot stronger, a lot more physical than we have been in the past. We spent a lot of time in the weight room, so I'm really interested to see how this team's going to do in the playoffs.
I talked to Trey and I said, what was the turning point to you in the season? He said was the Alcoa loss, that the players all kind of started texting. I guess they don't have group meetings anymore. They just text each other. Back in the day, it was like get everybody in the locker room, you yell at each other, and you come out. Now everybody just texts. But is that when you saw it, or was it like the Gatlinburg-Pittman game when you saw really it kind of come to a head?
It was our Alcoa game because when I look back at it and you look at things and, as a coach, you obviously get the advantage to watch the film again and you don't see what the fans see or, even media outlets. We always tell them, you can't pay attention to scores. Scores sometimes don't always dictate games. And so when we look back at the game, we saw things where we were just making just terrible mistakes. The moment was just too big for us. I think I told even one of your reporters, I was like, I thought we weren't scared of them, but you can quote me right now tonight, we were scared of them. And that was just to get our kids' attention and let them know. They know I don't sugarcoat it. And when we watched the film, though, we saw, like, okay, hey, these are some areas that we got to do to get better. We've just made terrible mistakes, And to obviously to play Alcoa and to beat Alcoa, you got to make them work. And we didn't make them work. I don't even think we scratched them any bit. Yeah. But we saw things with Trey, and that lets us know. And, you see Trey break 4 or 5 tackles and by himself, and he's running, still getting 75, 80 yards rushing in the game. You're like, well, if we get somebody to help him, we'll be all right.
Talking about Trey, the only quarterback in this area with over 1,000 yards rushing, with over 1,000 yards passing. What makes him special? I mean, I know y'all have had good quarterbacks in the past with that kind of capability, but what do you like about what he does on the field that just gives you kind of that utmost confidence going into each game?
His humbleness every day, taking ownership. Makes a bad play, it might not even be him. He'll still take the ownership for it. And so the kids, and he doesn't get hype about anything. Tonight I think he had like 7 touchdowns tonight, but it's just one of those like, okay, that's what I was supposed to do. And that's just the big thing. He's humble. He works. He doesn't let things bother him, and that's just the biggest thing with him. He stays the course, and that's huge because as a quarterback, you got to be even keel, and your team's got to see that you're not the big bragging guy and looking at the me stuff. So that's what really makes him special.
You can tell he's mature too. I mean, I sat up here and asked him, hey, looking back into the playoffs the last couple of years, what would you want to do different against Alcoa this time? He's like, basically, he didn't say it, but it's like, look, we're not at Alcoa yet. We still got a couple games to win first. And, I mean, you got to have a senior leader like that leading the locker room.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. We'd always tell them we'll let everybody else look ahead, but we'll stay the course and get better. And so he understands the things that we got to do. Obviously Friday night against Johnson County, and then after that keep going. But, that's special because he's never going to get ahead. He's going to always keep the kids there. Like, as soon as we got there tonight, he stepped in the huddle and said, it's grind time. It's a great week for us to get a little our nerves out about the playoffs. We took a bye week and had a little rust tonight, so we want to get that rust off before the playoffs and get going.
keys for your football team going into that first round? Like I talked with Trey, sometimes that first round can be the toughest because you feel a little jitters. You know if you lose, you go home, and maybe you tighten up a little bit. What's key for you guys early on in the first round?
Just playing our game. I think the jitters I think that's out. You know, we've been in the playoffs the last 4 years. I think this senior class has won like 40 games now. So they expect to be there, and that's the big thing about it. I think when you make mistakes is when you're nervous and you like, oh, I don't want to make a mistake. I'm not used to being here. And the good teams know. They expect to win. They expect to do the right things. And so it's just going to be healthy. Getting everybody to practice is one of our main things. So I ain't got to sit anybody out this week. That's huge for. We got to have all of our starters. That'll be key.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, Jeff, man, thanks so much for coming down here and joining us on 5 Star Live. And that's head coach Jeff Phillips of the Austin East Roadrunners. Keep an eye out on them in the 3A playoffs. We're going to take a break. We're going to show some commercials. Come back. We're going to be joined by West High School coach Lamar Brown right here on 5 Star Live.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
Ones make the plays. The dedicated ones never quit. Weekend warrior or professional, all athletes get hurt. And when you do, Tennessee Orthopedic Clinic's comprehensive sports medicine team is ready to take you on. The power of results.
The 5-Star Preps Player of the Week is proudly presented by Smith Built Homes, East Tennessee's most trusted home builders since the 1950s. Smith Built dedicates themselves to producing a home that owners, their families, and neighbors can be proud of for generations to come.
All right, everybody, welcome back to 5 Star Live, the playoff edition here in the War Room at Dead End Barbecue. Appreciate everybody out there who's been watching all night long during our pregame show, our halftime show as well. Now joined by Andrew Gilbert, junior nose tackle out at West High School. Congratulations on another win tonight, and now going into the playoffs. What's it feel like kind of going into the 5A playoffs now? Regular season's over.
I mean, it feels good. Coach Brown was talking to us tonight, and he said now it's a one-game season. Everyone's 0-0 now, so we just got to take it and try to be the best we can be every week.
Y'all had a little bit of a tight game kind of early there in the first half with Campbell County. What do you think was kind of key for y'all going forward tonight and kind of creating some separation and getting that win?
Well, Coach Brown, he always talks to us about great responses. Like, we can't control what happens, but we can control our response.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we did a really good job responding tonight to, like, hard situations.
So this team now going into the playoffs, what do you like about it, and is there anything that you want to see y'all maybe kind of improve on in this week of practice coming up?
Well, I really like our culture, and I really like how we just always have each other's backs, and we're willing to like lay it out on the line for us, and we're always relentless in everything that we do. And we just need to stack our practices day by day in order to be the best we can be.
Kind of intrigued by you because sometimes you see nose tackles that are 300 pounds and 6 foot tall. What do you do differently out on the field that kind of gives you an edge? So obviously you're not coming out there with 300 pounds and size filling up gaps.
I'm not sure. I just try to use as much finesse as I can. But
Yeah.
I'm not the most athletic guy, but I'm more athletic than the 250-pound lineman.
Okay. So
yeah,
I mean,
that's what I try
you
to
find
do.
a way to compete out there, man. That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir.
You got guys around you, Tyrese Edwards. You got Francis out there. This defensive unit kind of gets talked about quite a bit, and just how special is it to kind of play alongside those guys?
It's really special because ever since like my freshman year, I've kind of looked up to those guys like Drew and Tyrese, and they've always been like great role models for me, and like in how to play and act and practice and everything, which is great. And I really like the bond that we have on the defense, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a lot of support here tonight from West High School fans. We're right across the street from Dead End Barbecue. Yeah, it's like our own college game day atmosphere here, except for high school. But
Yeah.
it's you feel that support this year from them that y'all could possibly kind of do something special.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like with this team compared to the past 2 years that I've been associated with West, it's just been so much different, like feeling wise, and we've had so much support from the parents and families and fans. It's just been a really cool experience.
From a player standpoint, how did you all handle the Powell game? There was so much emotion into it, a lot of energy spent. I know y'all probably were kind of downfallen or kind of crestfallen right after the game, but did you see the team kind of rally together after that?
Well, yes. In the locker room, like you never saw someone upset alone. You always saw someone like leaning on someone's shoulder, and that's something that stood out to me, which is, I don't know, kind of cool. And also, I think everybody didn't want to forget that feeling, and we just want to use that feeling like to help us push going forward in the season.
Y'all played in the playoffs a year ago, had a really nice showing at Catholic there in the first round, but weren't able to win that football game. What do you think you guys can maybe draw on back to last year and say, hey, let's do this better and see how long we can stay in it?
Well, probably just like no plays off, because I feel like last year we had a little bit of a problem with that, and this year like we just have so much. We just need to like be on top of our game and like always be going hard every single play and give it our all and have no regrets on the field.
Yeah. Well, man, thanks so much for coming down to join us. Great to meet you. We're going to
Good to
pass the
meet you
mic off to the head coach, Lamar Brown. They gonna cheer for you like that, or
I
just
doubt
Gilbert?
I doubt it.
All right. Now joined by Lamar Brown, head football coach at West. And Lamar, we've had you on the program before. A win over Farragut High School and a win over Jefferson County High School. And it's crazy to think how fast the season has gone by. And just how much are you liking your team right now heading into the 5A playoffs?
Oh, I love this football team. They give us everything they've got every day. They've really grown up a lot, and everybody looks at the 9-1 record, but they're growing up as young men. We've got a 3.0 GPA right now on the football team, and that's up close to a point from 3 years ago. So they do everything we ask them to do, and they give us everything they've got every day.
I was talking with Gilbert there, and I talked about the Powell game and just kind of how emotional that was, the up and down of the game. You guys came out on the short end of the stick. What did you see out of your football team that night in the locker room and then the next week of practice?
Well, it hurt. I mean, in the locker room, it hurt. And I thought we had coming after the game into the next week, really nothing changed after that game. The whole media and everybody in town was talking about the game a month before it happened, and immediately after it, everybody started talking about a rematch. So
that's how we do this media. I'm sorry.
So nothing changed really from that game, but our kids were hurting. They got back, and only way I know when you go through adversity is get back to work, and our kids did that. I think we go to Fulton last week and played in awful conditions and played well. Come out tonight, started a little slow against Campbell County, especially offensively, but our kids really responded, and for the last 3 quarters of the game, played really good football.
So much has been made about the depth of 5A in East Tennessee. Whether you want to look at Region 1, 2, 3, or 4, there are quality teams in each region that could really make a deep run into the postseason. Just how do you think that depth this year can really kind of forge you by fire and make you guys into a winner possibly?
Well, the great thing has been our schedule. It's been a really tough schedule. We played some really good 6A teams that are in the playoffs, and then I would put our region in 5A up against any region in the state. Everybody was talking about Oak Ridge last Friday at this time, and they go to Fulton and get beat, and that can happen any night in our region. And so I think we've been tested. We've had a lot of big games. We've had a lot of tough games, and I think that helps this time of year.
So what's the message going forward to this team going into week one of the football playoffs to keep it simple and not have them looking ahead or looking around?
Well, no matter what your record is right now, I mean, we're 9-1, but next Friday that don't mean anything. All 32 teams on a level playing ground. Some teams get to host, some teams get to go on the road. But besides that, you win, you advance, you get beat, and you're out. So our message to our kids tonight was at 7 o'clock next Friday night. The outcome that we want out of this coming week is for us to be the best football team we can be at 7 o'clock, and wherever the chips fall after that, it's a one-game season.
10 years ago, we had the advent of the Z Plan. I don't know if I'm sure you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
The craziness that ensued that night and the following morning when they had the playoff pairings and all the mistakes. And do you like this format better so that you probably kind of knew a couple of teams you would probably face in the first round, whereas under the Z Plan, it was complete confusion at times?
Oh, it was bad. We knew going into the night we was going to play the loser of Salty Daisy and Walker Valley game. I can remember in the Z Plan going to Farragut to get some film from Coach Courtney, and when I pulled up, he met me outside, and he said, "You need to come in here." And I said, "What's going on, Eddie?" And he said, "They have taken the whole bracket down and changing it." And it was just mass confusion. It seemed like every year something different went wrong with it. But I like it. One plays 4, 2 plays 3.
All right, well, Lamar, we're going to let you get out of here. I appreciate you coming down and joining us here at Dead End Barbecue. Congratulations on a great regular season, and best of luck to you guys in the playoffs.
Hey, thank you for having me.
All right. The West fan base here cheers on Lamar Brown, and they go on into the 5A playoffs next week. We're going to catch our final break here and come back. We're going to take one final look at the playoff pairings going into the TSSAA playoffs next week.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
Ones make the plays. The dedicated ones never quit. Weekend warrior or professional, all athletes get hurt. And when you do, Tennessee Orthopedic Clinic's comprehensive sports medicine team is ready to take you on. The power of results.
The 5-Star Preps Player of the Week is proudly presented by Smith Built Homes, East Tennessee's most trusted home builders since the 1950s. Smith Built dedicates themselves to producing a home that owners, their families, and neighbors can be proud of for generations to come.
Welcome back, everybody. Jesse Smithy back with Jaywan Mitchell. And Jay, your peeps are here, man. Your people, all your West High School fans. I mean, they made it kind of live in here tonight.
Yeah, man, they came through and showed us some love, man, and just made the environment real comfortable and live. And, I'm always love my Rebels, man.
Shout out to Dead End Barbecue one last time for letting us host our playoff war room here tonight for the pregame, the halftime, the postgame show. It's just been amazing. Great food, great environment. If you've never been, it's right across the school, basically, from West High School,
Yeah,
those intramural fields, and I promise you're not going to find better barbecue and just kind of different cuisine that they have on there. I mean, I love it, and I've loved it for a very, very long time. All right, Jay, to all the people out there, we're going to take one last look at all the playoff possibilities. We're also going to show you our highlight reel from all of our plays of the week from the entire year, as well as a little special montage from Central High School and their championship win a year ago. So let's go ahead and, Jared, let's take one last run through 1A. Harriman at Cloudland, Coalfield, Hancock County, Oliver Springs, and Greenback. Really, J1, again, expect Harriman, Coalfield, Oliver Springs, and Greenback, all those Region 2 teams, likely going to win in the first round and meet up with each other in round 2.
Yeah, so take care of your business in the first round, then it's a toss-up after that, huh?
I mean, you back to your playoff days, I mean, you probably had to battle in maybe first or second round with teams that were in your district or region.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, those are the battles you look forward to. You want to go in the first round, take care of business, whether the team is supposed to be weak or not. You know, it's one and done. So you want to come in with all you got and then prepare for the next one and get to that next battle.
Yep. All right, Jared, let's go ahead and roll into 2A. We don't have a lot of 2A teams, just a few, but Oneida getting that home playoff game against Sullivan North. Rockwood wins tonight over Cumberland Gap. We'll run into South Green on the road next week. Into 3A, we got plenty of teams in 3A. Of course, Kingston fell tonight to Gatlinburg-Pittman. Kingston is the 4th seed. They'll go on to face Chucky Doak. Alcoa had their shutout streak came to an end. They've now allowed a whopping 37 points this year.
Wow.
So it went from 3.4 points per game to 3.7 as Dobbins Bennett put up a 6th spot tonight. Alcoa
It's still impressive,
It's
man.
crazy. 2 field goals against Alcoa tonight, 21-6 win. We had Austin East here up on the set 2 segments ago. They're going to take on Johnson County, and I gave both of them questions. I started talking about Alcoa, and they weren't ready to go there. They're experienced. They know they can't take Johnson County for granted, or it could be season over.
Yeah, I mean, it's playoffs, man. Anybody can lose, anybody can win. So you want to come in with the mindset of, you know what I'm saying? You never want to underestimate anybody. That's what I'm trying to say. So you want to come out and put everything out on the line, you know, because it's win or go home at this point.
Really be intrigued with what Gatlinburg-Pittman will do in the playoffs as they kind of stumbled there in the late part of the season with losses to Alcoa and Austin East, but they definitely have the capability to make a run if they get hot in the playoffs. Let's move down into Quad 2 in Class 3A. Loudon wins that region championship tonight against Red Bank. I thought they were going to win. I heard otherwise from other people. Red Bank had been getting first place votes in the state rankings, and
Wow.
Loudon pretty much whipped them in the second half tonight. So Loudon will face York in the first round of the state tournament. York won tonight 15-14 over Cannon County. Upperman will host Signal Mountain. Sweetwater wins in overtime to get a 3 seed. They go on the road tonight to Smith County. All right, moving on into 5A as South Doyle loses tonight back to 4A, excuse me. Greenville, the 2-time defending state champion, will take on Howard. Of course, this is a Greenville team that doesn't come in with undefeated record with possible Mr. Football guys. They're a 2 seed. They're going to have to beat Howard out of the Chattanooga area and then possibly lock horns in the second round with Elizabethton. And so everybody that thought it was going to be Greenville and Anderson County in the third round says, hey, it may not happen that way.
No, it just, like you said, it's a different Greenville team, you know, with not the usual green team that everybody's used to.
Yep. So, but who knows? I mean, they could get hot at the right time. I've seen crazier things happen. I told you on the set a couple of weeks ago the story I always tell. 2005, Livingston Academy was in a region with Carter and Fulton and all these teams. They were 5-5 entering the playoffs, and I watched them win a state championship in 3A that year.
I'm gonna keep saying it. It's not how you start; it's how you finish.
But
you play good football at the right time, anything can happen for you.
So we'll see if Anderson County can play the right football at the right time. They're 9-1. Shout out to Davey Gillum, head football coach at Anderson County. His 100th career victory tonight, and see what they can do going into the playoffs. I really like Anderson County as a football team going into the playoffs. They made believers out of me this year. Wasn't so high on them going into the year, and they got mad when I picked South Doyle to beat them by a lot, and they whipped South Doyle that night, and since then it's been all Anderson County. So, all right, let's roll into 5A. We got a lot of teams in 5A. South Doyle loses tonight 15-12 at Powell, but had no bearing on their seeding whatsoever. South Doyle was a region champion. They will host Cherokee in the first round. Central, even though they lost tonight to Gibbs and they've lost their last 2 football games, they're still the 2 seed. If Halls won tonight over Seymour, which they did in resounding fashion, that made Central the 2 seed, and I believe Halls the 3 seed. Halls will go on the road to Daniel Boone. And again, Jaywan, we talked about Gibbs in the first segment. I wouldn't want to face that football team right now.
No, they're definitely the sleeper team that you want to watch out for. You know what I mean? And like you said, they have a lot of weapons that can really do some damage to you if you don't watch it.
Yeah, 2 1,000-yard rushers and their quarterback, Troy Davis, Ethan Humphreys at running back, and a third guy that kind of completes the triple option who's got about 700 or 800 yards rushing. So that offense going on the road to Tennessee High up in Bristol, they have a castle as their stadium. Do you ever play up there?
No, I've never played.
The outside of their stadium looks like a castle.
Wow.
The Vikings and I don't know. I've seen
amazing,
it once.
man.
I've seen it once, but
that sounds like a fun place
so
to play, man.
Gibbs will have to go on the road and win in a difficult environment. Tennessee High's had a great year, but I like Gibbs. I like Halls. Davy Crockett's one to watch. They had a Mr. Football finalist a year ago who's back at quarterback. They got some dudes up there. That'll be a very tough game for Central.
Wow.
So keep an eye on.
It's not just a walk in the park.
No,
right
it's
there.
not.
It's definitely not for a team like you say that's been on a 2-game losing streak.
Yeah.
That's usually not the time where you want to go into the playoffs with 2 losses on your record. But
so
hopefully they can fight through it and make things happen for the team.
Central looking to get its mojo back going into the playoffs. They're the defending state champion. All right, let's move into Quad 2 in 5A. Lenore City, 4 seed at Powell. We all knew that was going to be the case. And there it is, J1. Fulton finds a way to get into the playoffs after everything's gone wrong. Everybody's trashed them all year long. They're not saying they're not good. Everybody's doubting them. They beat
all the adversity.
They beat Oak Ridge tonight 27-26. Oak Ridge missed a chip shot field goal there in the final seconds of the game to allow Fulton into the playoffs. And not only is Fulton in the playoffs, they're a 3 seed and not even a 4 seed. Oak Ridge drops to a 4 seed. They go on the road to see Soddy Daisy. And West High School we just had here in the studio here at Dead End, and they take on Walker Valley. So any thoughts on those teams that you see there?
Man, I mean, no, not really. I mean, you got 2 powerhouses pretty much in this, like you say, in this 5A quad with Powell and West being there. And like you said, everybody looking forward to those 2 guys being able to meet up. And just to see what Fulton can do as they, fought to get into the playoffs. Let's see what they can do if they can take advantage of this opportunity that they've gotten.
Well, Ray County is coached by former Catholic coach Mark Pemberton, and they like to run the wing tee, so that Fulton defense is going to have to read their keys, be very disciplined next week, try to keep Ray County in the 17 to 20-point range and see if they can spring an upset. So Powell, 4 wins this year by 6 points or less, another one tonight, and I don't think they'll struggle like that in the first week. I think they're going to be heads and shoulders better than Lenore City. All right, let's roll into 6A. Science Hill, 4 seed on the road at Maryville. Science Hill lost to Bearden tonight. Bearden gets the 3 seed. They go to McMinn County, and McMinn County had a big showing tonight to win the 2 seed over Bradley Central. McMinn County running back Jalen Hunt, over 300 yards rushing tonight. Wow. Big win for McMinn County. And a special moment for Bearden. We talked about them. Their 0-5 start, I believe, against teams that had a combined 25-1 record, and here they are as a 3 seed. That's a nice fight by Bearden.
It's another shocker, almost just like Fulton. They started off not so good, real terrible, losing a lot of guys through injuries and stuff like that, key players, and just been able to fight back and, like you said, get that playoff spot. Let's see what they do with it.
Farragut again. At one point, late in the fourth quarter, they were losing to Jefferson County. If they lost that game, they would have been out of the playoffs completely, given what was happening in other games.
Yeah.
They score with about 50 seconds left. Now they're a 2 seed.
Wow.
I mean, what a reversal of fortune in a matter of minutes. You go from season over to now you're a 2 seed hosting a playoff game.
Man, all I can say is it's basically, it's a product of their whole season, like you said. Unfortunately having inconsistent play on a roller coaster, but still been able to make it through all the adversity. And like you say, let's see if they can make something happen and stay on the up and up throughout the playoffs.
Rematch of Bradley Central. They faced them in the first game of the year.
Yeah.
Farragut won that game on the road. We're down, I think, by 13 points twice in that game to Bradley Central and still found a way to rally. They're going to have to do that again Friday night of next week, otherwise it's season over. Shout out to William Blunt and the Govs for sneaking in to the 6A playoffs. They took care of business tonight, did what they needed to do, got help from a few others around the area. Now the Govs are in the playoffs. Looking into Division II, we know that Kings Academy is in. They have a first-round bye. We know that CAK is in. We know that Grace Christian's in. Webb School of Knoxville is in. Catholic won their football game tonight against Father Ryan. Brentwood Academy lost. That equation worked out. Now we'll see what Catholic can do in the playoffs.
Yeah, man. Like you said, they had a tough season as well, especially being in this new division. But for the most part, they fought and held their own and clawed back in, and they got an opportunity to make something happen in the playoffs. Let's see what they do with it.
Hey, let's have some fun before we leave tonight. We're going to have 2 videos we're going to leave you with. The first will be our Smart Bank Smart Plays of the Week for our entire season, all the highlight plays, the special moments that we've aired on 5 Star Live. So we're going to show you that, and then we're also, as a tribute to Central High School winning their first ever state championship a year ago, we're going to look back, take a look back, kind of give you those chill bumps back to that moment where they beat Henry County to win the 2018 Class 5A state championship on a Sunday. That game got rained out on lightning, pushed into the next day, and had an unbelievable defensive battle there and won that football game. So for Jaywan Mitchell, for Jesse Smithy, for our entire staff back there behind the scenes, for Jared and Brittany and just everybody that's helped us, we're still going to continue through the playoffs, so stay with us here. But let's enjoy these videos and come join us again next week in the TSSAA playoffs.
The 5-Star Preps Play of the Week is brought to you by Smart Bank. Play smart, bank smart. Smart Bank. For more information, visit smartbank.com.